Hi everyone, my name is Lonnie and I'm going to show you today how to make this very beautiful No Sew Quilted Christmas ornament for your tree. This particular ornament is off of the basic star pattern that I learned from Stacy and Lowry. She is the ornament girl. A lot of you have already seen a lot of her ornaments probably on Facebook, or you've seen her on her webpage. She's got some beautiful, beautiful pieces. And she makes it so easy. So that's why I started with these ornaments. I thought it would be a great way to use up some fabric scraps that I had and to make some really cool sentimental ornaments with my mom's quilt stash. So today we're going to be doing the basic star pattern with a little twist. I've changed up the colors a little bit so that it doesn't end up like the very, very basic. This is a basic star, but with whiter rows. And then we have this one, which is what we're going to do today. So my class that I'm doing is also going to be doing this for the holidays. And the kit is going to contain everything that they need. So I'll run down a list of what you're going to need for you so that you can pull it all together and when you do yours. All right, let's get started. First thing that you're going to need is a 3-inch styrofoam ball. This particular styrofoam ball is a smooth styrofoam ball. You don't want to use, if you can keep from it, the little scratchy, really porous styrofoam balls. They don't hold the pins quite as well as the smooth styrofoam. So if you can, find the smooth styrofoam balls. You can sometimes find them at Joann's or Hobby Lobby. Michael's may have them as well. Sometimes you can find them at Walmart, but usually they're in an assorted pack for usually the planets, the kids' science project. So smooth styrofoam ball, some of them are going to have this equator around them, where this nice seam where you can figure out where your actual side is going to be. There's some other markings on here that I'll show you where we get started, where it's easiest to keep everything nice and straight. You're also going to need, if you like, it's optional, an embellishment. For this particular one, we're going to add a little jingle bell, and I have a piece of 7-inch, 1/8 inch wide ribbon that we're going to use to attach that. You're also going to need a piece of ribbon. This one happens to be 3/4 of an inch wide, or almost 7/8 inch wide. It is a nice woven ribbon that is going to be used to cover up any raw edges and pins around the side of your ornament. That is about 11 inches, I believe. You're also going to need 2 pieces of 48-inch long by 3/8 inch wide ribbon. This is going to be for your bow. This particular ribbon has a little bit of a rigid side on it, a rigid edge. So when you fold it to make your bow, it holds those loops really, really nicely. You're going to need another piece of that same ribbon, approximately 11 inches long, and this is going to 10 to 11 inches long. This is going to be your hanger. It's going to go on. This is going to be the first piece that we're going to do when we make your bow, because your bow and your hanger is all in one unit. You're going to need pins. I've got several straight pins. This particular pattern needs a total of 197. In my kits, I usually put a little extra because they do bend rather easily, and once you've bent them, they do not want to go into the styrofoam ball. The pieces of fabric that we're going to have, you have 3 different types. We have a burgundy, we have a white, and I've got this really cute print with these little gingerbread men. Sorry, there's a lot of traffic, so you may hear some trucks going up and down the road here. This particular pattern, you need 16 pieces of your dark color, your burgundy. You need 24 pieces of your white, and you need 8 of your accent fabric, in this case our little gingerbread men and candy canes. All right, I have them stacked in order of use. So we start with our burgundy, and with this particular craft, with a lot of things, cut off all your selvage. With this one, you don't have to. I trim off that rough edge, and this is actually going to be hidden, so it's not going to be showing anyway. All right, you're also going to need a corsage pin, a pearl-headed corsage pin. This is going to be for attaching your bow. So let's set those aside. Excuse me. Now, when we look at our ornament, you're going to notice that we want to try to keep your pattern the same on the front and the back. so that it's all lined up. So that if you look at the side, you want to see that it's pretty close. It can be off a little bit, but that's fine. It's pretty darn close. So you want your pattern similar so that when your ornament is hanging, if it turns, it's not going to be really wonky. So we're going to try to locate the center of our styrofoam ball. It's going to be hard to see on this one. This side, you have a little depression. This is where it was extruded. I don't know if I can get the camera right where you can see it. Probably not. There you go. You can see that right there. This is where the styrofoam was put into the mold. The other side, there is a series of 5 little raised dots. Very, very hard to see. In person, you can actually, that is pretty much spot on as far as your center. You know, sit that on that little ridge and it stays right there. So that's pretty much spot on for center. So that's where we're going to start. So first thing that we're going to do is you're going to take your burgundy fabric and you're going to fold it over. So the wrong side is up. You're going to fold about a 1/2 inch, just under a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 even is fine. So you're going to crease that really good, and then you're going to find your center. I like to lay it on a mat that has grid lines. This is from one of my old rotary cutting mats, and I find my center. I put it in just below the edge. So when I put this pin in, I want the head of that pin, let's see if you can see that, the head of that pin is just barely below the edge of the fabric, because when we fold this, I want that pin to be hidden. So I'm going to insert my pin right here so that the fabric just overlaps the center point on those little dots. You're going to fold it down, and you're going to fold the other side down, and you see how nicely that pin is hidden? So you don't even see that pin. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we slightly overlap. You see this point, your left side comes slightly under your right, so that when we pin that, you're going to go through both folds all the way and press that right into your styrofoam ball. Okay? Smooth down, I call them wings, smooth down your little wings and insert a pin in each corner. Do the other side, smooth it down, secure it. All right, so there's your first piece is done. Now, I will warn you, it gets really wonky. As soon as you start having this styrofoam ball off balance, it rolls kind of like a little kid's toy. So again, same thing, start with your fold. Now with this one, we're gonna put the fabric just over the tip of your first piece. Try to eyeball your center. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, that's okay. This is one craft that's extremely forgiving. You don't have to be precise on everything. Okay, so I have the fabric just barely covering that point of my first piece. I put my pin right up against the point underneath that fabric and I push it in. I'll give you a little tip. Your fingers get sore, use a pin. These pins are great. There's a little depression on the end. Pushes those pins in nicely. Okay? And do the same thing. You're going to fold down and fold down, slightly overlapping so that you can catch those. Here is where you want to start watching. You want to make sure that your lines are straight. Okay? You can do that by looking at your fold lines and lining it up with your grid on your rotary cutting mat or your paper. Okay, and then you're going to pin. Make sure you have that slight overlap. And you should have a nice straight line. If it looks wonky, take it out, move it over a little bit. That's fine. Your folds are not going to be perfect, or your sides may not be perfect, and that's fine. Move it around. See what looks best. And pin her up. There you go. Flatten out your wings, Smooth them out. Don't pull them really super, super tight. You don't have to pull it super tight because it's going to flatten out. These pieces, these sides right here, are going to be under your next one. If you pull too hard, what you're going to see is you're going to start seeing a really big split in your fabric, and you don't want to see that. Okay. All right, so our next piece, same thing. You're going to fold it. Now you're going to match this one up with your line right here, okay, with your folds, and come slightly over the edge. Take your pin and insert it just behind the edge of your fold on your third piece. Press it in. Fold down. Fold down. And pin her in place. Now, you want to watch because you do not want to see white space. So if you have something like this going on, you see that white space right there? You want to move it over to the side, cover that up, take a look, see if it looks square, and push your pin in. Smooth the other sides down, see how it's coming over your first two pieces. Pin your wings, hang on to your ball, and there you go. Okay, there's three pieces on. Now we're going to do our fourth red one. Same thing as the first. Going to go ahead and right over that fold, just barely covering it. Line your pin up, and as you put pressure on it, you can feel it going down just alongside your other pins. And if you feel metal on metal, that's fine, because you're really going to secure those nicely. Okay, fold it down. Fold it down, check for white space, make sure your line is straight here. Take a look at it and push your pin in. Smooth your wings. And there you go. All right, now your center is done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our white fabric, same thing, fold that over. Crease it down a little bit. Now, you want to start on one of your first two pieces. Those are the ones that are going to go underneath your last two. And you're going to come down about 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 3/8 of an inch exactly. You can do a 1/4 inch, but the only thing that you're going to have to do is be consistent all the way around. Put your pin in just below the edge. There we go, I like that right there. Okay, fold down, again, lining up your fold marks, slightly under on the bottom. Take a peek, look at your line. If you're squared away there. Catch both your folds, push it in, flatten out your wings, flatten out your wing, and there you go. Now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. With this, you always, once you start your pattern from your center all the way out, you want to make sure for this particular pattern that you are following opposite rule. You're going to go opposite sides, always. Don't go in a circle. Like I wouldn't want to go ahead and try to go here, because what's going to happen is you're going to start to spiral. And if you don't have a pattern that is intentionally spiraled, you're going to find it very, very difficult to keep everything straight so that when you go to do your back side, it's not going to line up. Okay, so let's go opposite side. And again, we're going to try to eyeball the center. And right in there, just off the edge, so that when you fold that over, it completely hides that pin on you. Okay. So then you grab a hold of that fabric and scooch over if you need to. Straighten her right up. I'm sorry, I have a dog at my elbow right now who is very, very vocal. Oh, see, and there we've been a pen. So I'll grab another one. This is why you have extras. Push that pin in. Straighten out your wings. Pin those in. And there you go. Now let's go ahead and do our opposite. Our other two pieces for that one. Fold it, press it down, and we're going to eyeball right about there. And you're going to insert your pin just below your fold. Fold it, fold it. Take a look at your line. Okay, and I can see, now I do want to show you too, don't let your overlap fool you. Once you start seeing that you no longer have this straight line and you see this swoop over to this side, this is where your overlap is being pulled over. So you want to look from here, from about this point, up. Okay, don't let the overlap fool you into thinking that you're going crooked when you're really not. Okay, and there you go. Make sure your pins are secure. One of the things that I like to do too when I get a full row on is I like to go through and roll the ball on my work surface to make sure I have all my pins in place. And okay, last piece on this round of the white. Again, I'm going to line that up. Make sure I eyeball it in there. Fold down, make my little overlap. Make sure I catch both folds of that. Smooth down my wings. Smooth that one down. Okay, so looking at this, I see this one is a little bit lower from my center point, but not so much that it's going to make a huge difference because these two pieces are overlapping my very first one. So it's okay. Here's my center. So that can really, really start to mess with your eyes if you're not careful. So take your ornament and roll it. Okay, making sure all your pins are seated nicely. And now we're going to start our next piece, which is this really, really cute little gingerbread and candy cane fabric. I found that at Joann's. I absolutely love it. It's a little thinner than the other fabrics, so that's why I like it folds very easy. Now, if you look at your ball and you're going to see the folds of your fabric aren't meeting up down here in the center of this top layer, that's okay. It's going to be that way because remember your triangles are larger at the bottom and they're going to overlap. So as it starts to turn, it's just, you'll have this nice little smooth S, okay, on both sides. So it goes to the left, comes back, and then goes to the right. Don't let that fool you. So when you place this one, because we are creating an equal star, you want to put this one and line it up with your white fabric. If you can see that it's just peeking out, just barely peeking out from underneath that beige or that cocoa colored fabric. Put your pin in. At this point, you're just going to guess the distance, okay? Because you want to split the distance between those two white pieces. Fold her down and fold it down. You're going to pin it just like you do all the others. Slight overlap. Now, here's where you can see if you're going to be really wonky, if the points of your star aren't even. So you can move it around a little bit. Catch your fabrics. Oh, bugger. That happens. Okay, that looks pretty good. So secure your center pin and smooth down your wings. Be very careful when you're pushing the pins in. I will tell you from experience, trying to push the point instead of the head of the pin hurts like the dickens. I've done that several times. Because I'm just on a roll and I just keep picking up pins. I'll be watching TV doing this, and next thing you know, I've got a pin sticking out of my finger. All right, again, line it up just barely. Here's what I'm going to show you this real quick. If you line it up so that it covers the white, you think you're spot on, okay? So you're right along the edge of the white. Here's what happens. I push this pin in and I fold it down. This point is sticking up past these two folds. Kind of hard to see here. That's not really what you want, okay? You want your points to be a little bit slightly lower. So we're gonna pull that out and reline up our fabric. And just below the fold. Okay, just like that. As you insert the pin, I know I do, I have a tendency to push forward. So I kind of give myself a little wiggle room there. Grab your pin. Square it up. Get a hold of fabric. Okay, there we go. Try to eyeball your line. Make sure your line is straight across. Pin down your wings. I do apologize right now for any snoring that you may hear. I have a boxer American Bulldog and a boxer English Bulldog, which is also known as a Valley Bulldog. And they're both sleeping in their beds right in front of my table. One of them snores a lot. So just in case, here again, you've got your overlap starting here, so be very careful. Don't let that fool you. Try to eyeball the distance in between those two pieces of white fabric. Okay. And fold your points down. Anchor. And pin her down. Smooth down your wings. Bend a pin. Take that out. Told you I was good at bending pins. It happens a lot, so don't get discouraged if you keep bending pins. Just be careful. Okay. These pieces of fabric, if you're curious, they're 2 inches by 3 inches. I forgot to tell you that earlier. So they will be here on the bottom with the materials list. Okay. And pin. Smooth down your wings. All right. And roll those pins. All right, so now we're ready for our next row, our next section on that row. And this is, again, back to that burgundy fabric. What you're going to do is fold it over again, about 3/8, 3 to 5/8. Now, we're going to position this just below the points of your burgundy star. So just where the white intersects with your cocoa fabric, just below that. Okay, that's going to give you about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a smidge more. Insert your pin, fold it down. Again, trying to eyeball your line. It is really easy when you work. If you roll that ball slightly away from you and you can see the line right down through there, it's much easier to keep things lined up. But check periodically, because even that you can get a little wonky. Smooth your points. All right, so see, that gives you a nice little accent piece right there. When you change up your fabrics or you change up the depth of your rows, it creates a whole different look. Okay, again, going opposite sides, we're going to do the same thing. Put that burgundy fabric just below those points. And insert your pin. Fold it down. Fold it down. Anchor. Smooth out your wings. Okay, and we're going to do the other two sides next. Fold it down. Line it up just under those points. Fold her down, fold her down. Anchor. Smooth out your wings. All right, and opposite side. See? It comes along really quickly once you get it going. For a lot of my classes, the first time they come, the first side seems to take forever because they just are still trying to get the concepts and still trying to get the eyeball of the folds and the different measurements. And everybody is usually so worried that they're going to make a mistake. It's okay if you make a mistake. Mistakes can be fudged. You can trick the eye. You can take it apart. You can fix it. It's not a big deal. It's all good. Again, check your line. Push your pin in. And there is, oh,